Cool.
Oh, and we're live,
We are
and
live.
we're back. And I didn't die, by the way. I noticed that Rob, for some reason, Rob decided to say when he announced that I was sick that I was fighting to stay alive. It wasn't. It wasn't that. It was because I was getting messages, and I appreciate the
Oh,
messages that I
fair
was
enough.
getting.
I maybe
I
should have said
appreciate.
yeah, a
I
bit
appreciate.
exaggerated.
I appreciate the
I used.
messages I was getting because I got probably like a dozen people just
Ah,
messaging me after like 5 minutes, like, "Hey man, are you like, what's
are you
going on? Are
dying?
you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm just sick. It's fine." I'm just, but yeah, it was kind of creepy for a while there. I'll tell you all this. I got really sick with like a fever and all that crap that goes with it, right? I couldn't breathe through my nose at all, and half of my face on the right side was basically numb, so I couldn't open it. I was like sitting like this when I was relaxed, and I couldn't move that side of the face. Um, so I didn't have a great week, but I'm back now, and I'm kind of still a little bit eh. So we decided to keep this one a bit shorter than the regular ones. We're gonna stick around for like an hour or so. So, okay, with that out of the way, welcome back to Crypto Talks.
Indeed.
I'm Phil, and that's Rob, and we'll do our thing.
Do
Like
I
we did.
think?
We don't actually like. I'll be honest. We didn't really figure out what we wanted to talk about for this one because it was
We
kind of
just hadn't talked for a week, so it was like, should we
we
just do
haven't
something?
talked. Yeah, when I'm
No.
sick, Rob just ignores me. So
Well, you weren't saying anything fun. I was just.
no, I was just complaining.
I'm sick. I'm dying. Um,
Oh, it's funny because it's true, but it's not really that funny.
Legit. Well,
So
no, and also, I was busy, so yeah, I did
yeah, you
check
were
up on you,
busy.
but yeah,
I know. I was just kidding. I was
I
just
know.
kidding. We're all friends. Don't worry, guys.
And he's
So
alive.
and Imre, nobody died, and Jay, there's no weakness inside me.
Mm.
It's all on the outside or something. I don't know. Your face always looks like look at Imre. He's bashing me. Thank
Your
you.
face always looks like. Don't all of our faces always look like this? I mean, isn't that what a face is? At least
Yeah,
they're quite reliable.
Jay, no, was not a stroke. It was not. I was just very sick. I had like a 4-degree fever or something like that, which was not great. Anyway, let's get into some stuff here. I managed to put down a couple of some notes on what I wanted to talk about, and I think what I kind of want to start with here is I think we should start off on a fun note, and the fun stuff that happened when I was gone, as far as I could tell, was that Gary Gensler got absolutely shredded by Congress, uh, and
Well, deservedly so.
well, yeah, and I think we have a few congressmen and women on our side here in the United States, at least. I mean, obviously, we're both in Europe, but whatever happens on the other side of the pond affects us pretty much entirely.
But yeah, everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
just we might as well just
So-
all be the US. To be honest, like, there's not really any point in looking at any of our own actual country stuff when there's.
Not entirely though. That might change a little bit, but we'll get to that. But I was laughing at the fact that Gary was asked these simple questions, and I'm not going to get into any detail here, but Gary was asked a bunch of pretty simple questions, and he was asked by Tom Emmer to respond with a yes or no, because it was really yes or no answers, or maybe just respond with a simple number like 10 or 15, something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously, Gary Gensler starts acting like a politician, and he can't respond with yes or no. So he started talking, and every time he started talking more than just saying yes or no, he got completely destroyed. Where Tom Emmer said, "I'll take back my time," and then he just responded for Gary with the information he had, which was correct. And then just went to the next question. So Gary was just sitting there shaking. We could see his hands shaking like this. He was getting absolutely destroyed. Yeah.
But yeah, this is the problem though, is that like it's so clear that what he's done is an overreach in terms of what because they're just stepping on people without any actual clarification. You've had
Yep.
people who have said, we don't know the rules, but we're going to set up a project anyway, and then years down the line, they the SEC comes along and says, oh no, you didn't follow the rules that didn't exist at the time when you set up the thing which didn't exist when we made the rules. And
yeah,
that's
something like that. That's about right.
That's basically how it goes. It's like these things are not the same as securities, and yet they're being treated as such. And yes, okay, they clearly have some security-based aspects. Some of them are very clearly securities, but that doesn't mean to say that it's a whitewash across the board. These things shouldn't be allowed to operate because, as I said, the rules weren't in place when they were created.
Right.
So,
no.
Yeah.
And I remember responding. I remember actually responding to a tweet by Gary Gensler. He said something. Oh, I can't remember exactly what it was now, but I remember me I just saw red and I said, "How do you expect people to follow regulations that don't exist?" And obviously, no answer. Why would you respond to me, right? But
yeah,
that tweet got a lot of likes though. So
viral hashtag viral.
Yeah. So, but if you guys want to see, by the way, if you guys want to see or be part of the Crypto Talks kind of tweet madness that we sometimes we're
Tweet
quiet
madness.
for a while, but then we kind of go on a tangent and start bashing people around on Twitter, which is kind of fun. If you want to see that happening in real time, make sure you follow us on Twitter as well. We do have it's right here, right in the bottom right now. It says follow us on Twitter. So that could be fun. But yeah, no, the Americans are completely like they're pushing everybody out. I heard that Coinbase is actually thinking about moving out of the US. Coinbase, one of the few really serious actors that are still in the United States, are thinking about getting out and just relocating to somewhere in Europe. And one of the reasons for that, I think, is because, like Jay just said in the chat here, the MiCA bill, the regulatory, it's markets in crypto assets regulatory framework that has just been passed. I think they passed it on the 20th or 22nd or something like that in Europe and European Parliament. And that is now everybody has something to build around. There is a framework. There are regulations. There are rules. So in Europe, it's clear as day now. It's on paper. Excuse me. It's on paper. It's there. So if you're building a crypto project and you want to know what you can and can't do, Europe is the only one who has an answer for that, basically. Which is great because we missed out on the internet thing.
Yes, and this is the kind of, when we're talking about moving away from the kind of nonsense speculative crap that, let's face it, 90% of this market is. There's a reason people think we're a joke, and that's because we're a joke. But within that, obviously, there's an awful lot of very, very serious, very cutting edge development going on, and this really will aid people in deciding where to set up the business. If they can go, here's the rules, we can follow them, we can make sure that we can build this project in a way that the second largest market on the planet is able to, if I know the largest market on the planet is able to participate in freely, and that's huge for growth. And when you add on other sort of technological advances like AI in, then it's there's so many room for multiple waves of innovation, and to think that there's not going to be another stupid silly cycle like the last one. There will be another hype cycle, and when it comes along, it will be different because it's going to be very, very heavily scrutinized by by regulations, and that will mean that companies like Coinbase will set up in Europe, and they will most likely only trade, only make available coins which meet these European standards. And by doing so, that they will make sure that they actually do set some sort of actual standard for the shit that they peddle on their platform.
Being honest. With that, just look at CoinMarketCap. don't know exactly how many coins there are, like you can watch on CoinMarketCap right now, but light mode. There we go. 23,562 different cryptos. I swear to you, in Europe, if this was if the European, like the Mica bill was around, and they had to remove everything that didn't fit the bill, basically,
Yeah.
we would be down to like the thousands.
Yeah, or hundreds even. I don't, it's, but then this is as part of that though. Do we need everything to be regulated? Do we need all the others? I know there's so many absolute dog shit irrelevant tokens that I don't understand why CoinMarketCap really even bother to, why they bother to keep them listed. Why don't they just go, no, this is classified as a dead coin by some metrics, and that would be a lot better. But
maybe we should build that website.
That'd be cool.
On CryptoTalks.com, we will put that in there as a tab.
But I think there's a lot of room for say games to have currencies and NFT based sort of trading, and people can do this privately, and there's a whole host of different applications whereby you might not want to have your coin even listed on Coinbase. You don't need it. A DEX is perfectly fine, especially when we're moving into sort of the gaming world, where but think about the potential of having a metaverse with an AI controlled or run or contributed metaverse that basically provided this very organic infinite experience whereby the people in it had they're running on a chain where they've got a crypto, and people are setting up mini economies within this economy, and they're setting up their own coins within coins, and this wouldn't have any use outside that ecosystem. So it doesn't need to be on the likes of Coinbase. And that's just one example. There's countless. So there's a whole load of stuff that maybe this won't really help, but there's an awful lot that it will, and it really desperately needs just a place for actual serious investors to go, we can buy this with some sort of faith that the people behind it aren't complete bellends.
Yeah, precisely. I think the main bullish sentiment that will come from the Mica bill being introduced. And by the way, I believe everybody has about 18 months to comply to this, before it's like properly set in stone or whatever you want to call that. I don't quote me on that, but I believe it's 18 months from it being passed is how long you have to kind of comply to it, which is, I think, plenty of time. 18 months is pretty fair, especially for, if it's a new coin or new project, then obviously, that's fine. You can just go right ahead, right? But in terms of exchanges and all these things, they have 18 months to kind of do the research they need to do to be able to delist whatever they shouldn't have on it, which shouldn't be much of a problem if you have 18 months to do it, and a big team such as Coinbase's team, for example. But I think the main bullish part of the Mica being passed is that now, traditional finance like banks and stuff like that, they have a way, they know they can start building products around these regulations to offer products to their customers, like regular banks. Like suddenly my mother, instead of having to go to me to buy her Bitcoins or whatever for her and hold them for her in cold storage, she can just go to her bank and say, look, do you have any Bitcoin products? And they'll be like, yes, we do now, because now we can.
Because we can, yeah.
Exactly. So suddenly, the crypto market reach in Europe is basically 100%. You reach 100% of banked people now, if they start building products, which they must do, because otherwise they will miss out.
Well, if they
like the Americans.
This is then sets off the game theory side. This cycle of nobody wants to be the first and jump into these products, but nobody wants to be last either. And as soon as someone takes the step, there will be a rush to put these out. And if, in terms of what that could benefit, that could be a huge beneficiary for the likes of for say Ethereum, and Ethereum and DeFi. If they are allowed to actually, if they are allowed to operate essentially how the okay, I realize what I'm about to say. If they were allowed to operate like all the exchanges that were essentially lending out crypto and the likes of like Celsius,
fractional reserve, that
this
type of model.
This would be the basis. If they do the fractional reserve bit, they're gonna get screwed.
Oh yeah.
If they do it properly with regulations that say you must be fully 100% backed at all times, with reasonably liquid, not necessarily 100% liquid, able to say, but it's all right to say we can't access all your money right now because you're locked up in a product that provides a yield. You agreed at the time what product you would use, and you said, so this might take
transparency.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't have to be. So it doesn't have to be controversial. It can just simply be. Yeah, it can just be straight up.
I mean,
this is your money. We can prove we have it, and that's not difficult. And if they're allowed to offer products on that basis, cool, all for it. It helps adoption. It helps understanding. It helps knowledge.
Yeah, and there are already products like that in traditional banking too. I mean, I know people that have locked up, which I hate, but they've locked up like a sum of money, let's say $10,000, into some yield generating product thing in the bank, and it's like, oh, well, you lock it up for 6 months and then you can unlock it, so it's like, oh, I need to unlock it now. Oh, sorry, it's 2 months left, sorry, can't do it. That's all good and dandy because there's a contract and there's but I think you were talking about having reserves and everything, and I mean, if you're looking at, as far as I can tell from the numbers that Binance and Crypto.com have released and Kraken, they are basically they have like 105 to 100, or like 103 to 106% more of what the customers hold. So it's like they have more than they need to have. If there was a bank run on Binance, everybody could get everything they wanted and they would still have money left, which is their own, locked away, which is good. And imagine, I mean, I think Binance and other exchanges like Crypto.com as well, I believe they have the same type of, and Kraken, for example, they have the same kind of way of doing it. They want to make sure that they have more reserves than they need. And imagine if regular banks had that.
Yeah.
Why do you think banks hate Binance so much? It's like, oh, they're doing your job but better. Oh, oops.
But it's not designed. It's not there. This is then we could get into.
It's not a bank. It's an exchange.
Yes, we could tangent all the way off into fractional reserve banking and
that would take 6
economic
hours.
theory, and that's the rest of it. And we have said that we will do a video on that, and we really need
a mega video of that.
Big video.
We'll figure that out later.
We will.
It's going to be a large one.
Not today.
But
it's that's because they operate differently, and because the Fed or any central bank has a magic money tree and can just pop money out of thin air, then this the money that doesn't actually exist in real life is insured, and they can, as they did with Silvergate and Silicon Valley Bank, they popped 200 billion into existence just out of thin air. And they'll have to do it again when the banks when the shit hits the fan for the banks. And but because crypto doesn't have that protection, then it has to operate via a different rule set, because it isn't Keynesian money, it's Austrian money, and that has to be handled differently. Our own gold, our own actual gold reserve exchanges are basically paper traded. There's not really any real gold that's being transferred, because you can at the expiry of a contract, you can either provide the physical gold, or you can provide a cash equivalent. So all of that volume that's churning around that market, none of it is actually going into the price of the actual metal itself. And that's basically what happens with Bitcoin futures. exchanges. That's the
Yep.
exact same thing. Say that's just a
Oh
way
yeah.
of inflating you're trading something which is tied to Bitcoin but isn't Bitcoin.
Yep. Yep.
And
Pure form is the way to go.
yeah,
I think most of us agree with
but
that,
that's
though.
but then as long as the rules are followed, and it is so easy to follow the rules.
Yeah,
And
it is
and yet we have people who are
greedy.
just dicks. like there's greed. Come on, there's greed, and then there's being worth 20 billion and still feeling you need to scam people out of shitcoin investments.
Oh yeah, no,
Like,
it's
come on.
It's like when you get into crypto, the first sentence you should get from somebody who has been in the game for a while is, "This is the Wild West. Bring a helmet." You know,
Everything's a scam. Rule one. Everything
is a scam. Yeah, but yeah. Well, there's not much we can. The only thing we can do now after the whole FTX thing and all these other things is not do it again, please. Like we should, the markets, the crypto space should learn from all this crap. Like everyone who's still around now at this time, like all you guys watching right now, who are
Heroes.
still
Heroes.
are fucking legends. But but honestly, like you know how the cycles go. It's like, oh yay, everybody wants crypto, and then suddenly it's like, oh no, it's going to zero, and then after that period is over, which is where we are right now, we're close to the bottom or bear market rally. We're like, the ones who are here right now, even 2 or 3 months ago is even better to say, when we actually hit the FTX bottom, like the beginning of the year, just before the beginning of the year. The guys that were still there at that time, that has been around through cycles, or the first time they fell through one of the bear cycles, like legends, dude. It's either a legendary person who just has this mind of steel, and or people that are just, I don't care, I'm just gonna sit here. That's pretty badass.
It is, and as you know, I can take pride that I've been through 2 of these. So super legend.
Giga legend.
I've prestiged, so it's like
You've transcended.
Yeah, no, it's just I went back, started off my loadout reset, and now it's like, okay, we go again.
Yep.
And so yeah,
it's been fun. I'm not gonna lie. I've enjoyed this absolute crash of like 2022 all the way down. I've enjoyed it in terms of holy crap, I'm learning, and I'm feeling these horrible feelings, but I still know that things will turn around. So it's been like type feelings. But it's a roller coaster, dude. It's like just a few. It can be a few hours in between. It's that hard sometimes. But anyway, if you've survived this bear market and this bottoming thing and all this stuff, recessionary stuff happening, like, nice, bro.
And sis.
And sis.
Oh, sis.
Yeah. And bro, sis. Anyway, I want to move on to something. And where is it? Oh yeah, I was looking at the supply of Bitcoin on exchanges. It's down.
Are we still dropping?
Yeah, it's kind of stagnated on for a couple of days or for a week or two. It's stagnated on 2.2 million on exchanges, and that's not a lot. Like, supply crunch is coming, because we know, first of all, we got about 11 months until the halving happens. And for those of you who don't know what the halving is, Bitcoin's rewards per block is cut in half every 4 years ish. And that usually results in a supply crunch, because a lot less new Bitcoins that are minted from mining will fall into the into the markets and being sold by miners that want to make a profit, obviously. And that tends to mean that there's a lot less sell orders coming in and a lot more buy orders coming in, because people know, oh, it's getting more scarce now, time to buy, right? And those who have been around for longer, we know that the time to really buy a lot was December last year.
Well, yeah.
Essentially. But the supply crunch that is coming is, I think, it's coming at the same time as the MiCA bill is being pushed through, which means that opens up for a lot of new users. and so the crunch might actually be quite significant, which is
It's I've got, well, I have a bit of with this. I'm not so sure on the sort of the future effect of the halving. It will have an effect, but in terms of the current the extent of the extent of the halving is reduced by half, obviously, each time. So we're already at what I believe 2% inflation rate or less. It's like
1.79.
1.5, 1.8. Okay, so in a year or so we dropped to below 1%.
Yep.
That's only a 1% reduction. Like the amount
No,
of
it's not.
Bitcoin.
That's a 50%
No,
reduction.
yes, but in terms of the amount of reduction of supply to the market, it is only a 1% reduction in the total supply available. Like if you've
Yeah, in the total, it's in the
to
stock
go
to flow.
from
Yes.
2%, yes, to 1%, like you're
Yep.
not. We're so nearly saturated.
Yep.
It's kind of already all circulating, and so
Yep.
I know since the last halving, then since the last halving, then it already came to pass that exchanges, depending, this obviously depends on volume, but the exchanges were basically making a similar amount of Bitcoin in their trading fees as miners were. So the exchanges were operating essentially as a miner themselves, where they were accumulating and then they would dump. So the miners are going to take another hit, but they're already less significant than other players in the market who are going to grow in significance.
Yeah.
So it will, obviously it has an effect. It's having an effect more on the fact that now you can consider the inflation rate to be essentially zero. Realistically, because we expect the adoption rate to be so much more than 1%. That if the adoption rate
people are losing their coins too, so you have to.
Yes,
it's basically deflationary at this point.
If the adoption rate was, say, an increase of 8% per year, then a reduction in supply of 1%, it's only 1%. It's not that big a deal. So yes, it will speed our trajectory, but that's why we like Bitcoin in the first place, because we know it has this trajectory. This is the path that we want to be on, because it has properties which means it's highly likely to continue to appreciate in value.
Oh yeah.
So it's that simple.
Yeah, so I agree with that. And I'd just like to add.
Yeah, go on.
I just wanted to add for everybody watching, like, if you want, like, the stock to flow ratio on gold, I believe is like 4.3%, something like that. And if you wanted to
say that again, sorry, is it?
I think it was 4.3% last I checked, like just like today.
Okay.
But if you wanted to raise that to, like, let's say 6%, let's say it's 4, you wanted to raise it to 6%, like, you just have to dig for more gold, right? And you will find it. But you can't really do that with Bitcoin either. So you can't actually raise the stock to flow. It will only ever go down. Just to clarify that. So that's the difference between gold and Bitcoin. Because I know I've been having questions about that.
So yes, you can, in a way. The way that you do it is by developing a better, more energy efficient, faster miner.
Yeah, but more Bitcoins will not be mined just because of that.
No. But in terms of how do you get more of your share of the market?
More of your share, yes. That's very true. That's true. That's why miners are adding so much power to their own, their operation. So I've had that argument actually with a coworker. About the whole stock to flow type thing, and he didn't really understand it, but he doesn't do any crypto or anything, and so I didn't expect him to understand, but I tried. I did want to show something though, because I was looking through the crypto report by Andreessen Horowitz, and I'll show this. I can make this available in the chat. This actually just for fun. If you guys want to read through this, it's large.
It's big,
but it's fantastic. Big. Actually, I'm still reading through it. I've had this saved since it came out like a while back, but this one I wanted to show. Here's the thing: people have been talking about. See if I can actually zoom in on this. Okay. People have been talking about the here we go. How crypto would have within like a year or two 1 billion users, right?
Okay.
And I don't know if I believe in that, because it's been following the orange line here is the internet users and the adoption of the internet, right? And it took it from 1990 to 2005 to get from like I don't know 4 million to 1 billion users. That's 15 years. So crypto has followed that. It was faster in the beginning, obviously, but it's been following that. And this is the monthly transaction addresses and the yearly transacting addresses here on the top. So somewhere in between here is what the adoption would be. So that's pretty close to the internet.
Yeah.
But that would suggest that in 2031, we would reach 1 billion users, not 2025, like people are saying. So that is actually, yeah. So don't be too bullish on the adoption curve of crypto. I'm not saying don't be bullish. I'm just saying don't take stuff with a grain of salt.
Temper your expectations and accept that a 20 or 30 or 40% growth rate in a year is completely unsustainable on a decades long basis. It cannot happen because it just explodes. You reach 8 billion users very, very quickly. So yes, the growth rate may slow down to something more like 10-15% per year, which is still remarkably fast. And because along with that growth rate comes then the fundamental increase in valuation from the network adoption, but also the fact that you have more people invested in the network who are then holding their coins and not making them available for transaction and contributing to this, to the supply shock mechanism, which is what we know is building. We know that that's coming, or we believe that's coming, on the basis that Bitcoin will continue to gain market adoption of the global financial system.
Yeah, and just like to add, I believe that this is not Bitcoin included.
It says popular EVM chains,
yeah, because it says here includes the set of unique public keys with sending transactions across popular EVM chains, including L2s. I don't think this is with Bitcoin included. So because this is state of crypto, and Bitcoin usually, for some reason, people don't add Bitcoin in as a crypto. It's more like just Bitcoin. But so these type of things you have to take it with a grain of salt. But if you want to read through this, I gave you the link here in the chat, and if you want to look through it and have a better understanding of it, which is something you'll have to do because we're not going to get into this too deep. Maybe we'll do a video on this after we've gone through it properly and have everything in our heads. But I wanted to show this one.
50 something slides, is it?
It's 60 slides. 60, and then there's a disclosure at the end there. So yeah, I just found this one really interesting because of the way that they're estimating it to be 2031, and usually on crypto Twitter and all these things, people are saying 2025 will have 1 billion. I mean, okay, I mean, cool, maybe, but not really.
Please don't go to crypto Twitter for logic and sound advice on anything to do with crypto.
But, exactly.
Crypto
Most
Twitter
people use crypto Twitter is where you go for a laugh usually. So I will keep telling people don't look at crypto Twitter too much, or do that, but make sure you take most of it with a grain of salt, because there's a lot of crap going around.
Because everything's a scam.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know how your bot situation is, but they made Mr. Musk made an awful big deal about fixing the bots, and I still get pinged every single day by the amount of Blur airdrops that I've been eligible for and Arbitrum airdrops. I should be a billionaire.
Yeah, exactly. Why aren't we? That's not fair.
Nope.
but hey, what can we do? I wonder. So, but before we started this, Rob, I mentioned some other stuff, and I don't think we should dig into this too much. But apparently, NFTs on ETH has dropped. NFT trading has dropped by 85% in April. That's pretty sick. I don't know why, actually. I just know that it has, and I stole just a quick graph from my favorite YouTube channel for crypto, which is Invest Answers, and look at this drop here, just boom out of nowhere, and this includes OpenSea Pro, OpenSea, LooksRare, and Blur. So everything's just down, and I'm not sure why. It's just completely disappeared. Because it's been very stable for. I mean, if you look back on this chart, I mean, I think we have it somewhere on like the block or something. It's been pretty flat since the beginning of the year, with a spike here or there, up and down. But here it's like slowly just decreasing over the course of this month, and I'm not really sure why.
I could give it a guess, and that is ETH is doing well.
Could be
quite simply. Why people are not people? The reason why people aren't trading NFTs is because ETH is going up. So why the hell would you hand out your ETH to buy a monkey picture while ETH itself is appreciating? You know, I'm sure that if you look at the NFT market, I don't know how if what TradingView has on NFTs.
I'll check the. I'll check the block. But yeah, since the start of the year, it's been pretty much. It was peaking in the beginning of 2022, and then when we got to August, it just went completely just flat. I can actually share this one. I have to stream. I'll see if I can clean this up a little bit, expand this one. This is NFT trade volume by chain. That's volume. And here's 2021. It was a big thing, and then suddenly just boom, dead.
Right. Well.
So, and I don't like the block for the reason these charts, I can't expand them. I can't toy around with them. It's just 12 months.
Ugly. That's not
good. It's not awesome.
It's not awesome, no.
Comparing some stuff, I haven't checked these before we just opened this. So, well, actually, if you compare, they at least have Ethereum and Solana mints here. That's the only comparison I can make here.
Yeah.
Ethereum is down, and currently it's at like 2,000 mints on Ethereum. Meanwhile, on Solana, we're looking at 23,000, 12,000. So obviously, there's a lot more. Could have to do with the fact that it's cheaper to do it on Solana.
So fundamentally, those Solana NFTs will be worth less because they are there's only a finite amount of demand for new NFTs, and this is a sort of source of inflation in the market. Now, obviously, these NFTs have potentially different use cases or absolutely no use cases in some of them, but yeah, generally there will be the higher grade stuff will be on Ethereum, and the cheaper, faster stuff would be on Solana, because if you've got an NFT worth $1 million, you don't care if your gas fee is $3 and it takes 30 seconds to confirm a transaction. You do not care. You want to be on the strongest chain, the most trusted chain.
I think it's important to say it as well, Rob. Like, when you look at these, like, I don't look at like, oh, where should I go to make the most money on my trades? Like, NFTs is more than money making things. There are use cases for them that will be built in, hopefully, more and more as we go along. And it's like the regular people around the world will probably, when it's like implemented into simple stuff, just like making life easier type things, having it on Solana at that point, or something where it doesn't cost you basically anything to use NFTs for what you want to use them for, and not to make money on them specifically, It's like I think the money making NFTs will be flopping around on Ethereum, and I think the real life use case type stuff that are like smaller transactions and stuff would probably end up on Solana. And I think that's why we have much more volume in mints on Solana than on ETH. Probably.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it makes sense. Simply, it's how the distribution is on the two chains. It's a case of it's because of the use case, and why would you choose one chain over the other? There's different pros and cons to each, and Ethereum can handle fewer transactions, so it makes sense it would have fewer transactions on it. It's just logic, really. So
it's the same thing. It's the same thing when you think about payment systems. Like if you're gonna have, I can close this one, but if you're gonna have something like Solana Pay, for example, the payment stuff makes sense on Solana more so than on ETH. Because I mean, imagine if you were a vendor and you were selling groceries and you wanted to implement a new payment system, rather than Visa, where you pay what is it, 2.5% or something per sale you do or whatever. You want something that is as fast or faster, because you don't want your customer to stand there and wait for 5 minutes before their transaction goes through. And you don't really, like, if you're buying a pack of gum, you don't want to pay $6 or whatever in gas fees just because you want to make a sale. You want to pay a fraction of a penny.
Yeah. Yes.
So it just makes sense. So for those type of things, like normal retail person, everyday life type use case, Solana is the better chain. I'm not saying go buy Solana or anything. I'm just saying the technologies do different things for different people.
And this is what I'm definitely sort of this. I'm a bit confused actually to this. Is that I'm of the opinion that Apple and Google will eventually be one of the largest crypto holders sort of in the world, and I think they will do that through Apple Pay and Google Pay. And you will simply in the same way that now with Apple Pay or Google, you pick your phone out, you go boop, you will just simply have an option pay in crypto. What do you want to pay on? This chain, that chain. And all your and your Apple Wallet will be tied to your account, and it will be, I would say it's probably going to be a pseudo cold wallet in that you would have access to it, but Apple would host it, in the same way like Crypto.com's chain. Yeah, so that's that kind of scenario where it's. I mean, they will end up accumulating a huge amount of crypto that way, and that would enable. And anybody can, if I want to receive dollars on Polygon and you want to send it on Solana, well, I can do that, and it'll just handle the transactions. It would just be
an intermediary,
exactly. And then you would just have people acting as market makers that would go, well, I'll just sit here on Binance, and I've got a pool on this wallet, a pool on this chain, a pool on this chain. Every time a transaction happens, I'll just make the switch. And I'll just buy and sell on Binance according to whatever you want to transfer between.
It's interesting though. I mean, I'll say this: if Google or Amazon or Apple or Microsoft announced, "Hey, we've made a layer 1 blockchain," I'm buying that.
Yeah,
I'm buying it. Like I don't
absolutely.
Even if it's much worse than Solana or much worse than ETH, I'm buying it.
It doesn't matter because it's the ecosystem, and immediately it has. It doesn't have, and if
it has an immediate adoption curve.
Yes,
like everybody who has an Apple phone will be like, oh. Okay.
Well, this is like thing. But look what we've just said is that the path to 1 billion users is 2030.
Yeah.
Not if Apple Pay is introduced. If crypto is introduced to Apple Pay and Google Pay. No, that's 3 billion users off the bat.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the arguments for why I think Solana made their own phone as well. It's like, if we can put our chain into the hands of the mainstream people that just want a phone, well, instant adoption, right? I mean, imagine if I know let's make some speculative, funny assumptions here. Imagine Solana or Anatoly Yakovenko reaching out to Elon Musk and says, look, why don't you just put, you want to make Twitter into this payment system thing, put it on our phone in our app store and build it on Solana. Boom. Suddenly Solana is the biggest chain ever. Like just overnight, literally, at that point.
I'm sure it's that simple.
No, it's not that simple, obviously. But you know what I mean. It's
I know
like
what you mean.
that's a possibility that might happen, because I think even Elon has been talking about, how he wants to kind of do a little bit of crypto stuff, and technology is sound and all that. It's like, okay, well, dude, just talk to Anatoly. I've tweeted to Anatoly and well, Elon as well, and said, just talk to each other, guys. Come on, have a meeting, grab a beer, play some ping pong, whatever. Just do it. Talk.
It's it's quite obvious, I think, to me that the conversations are happening, but they are happening at a pace which we are not necessarily happy with.
Oh yeah, no, it's too slow, boring.
Well, it's quite simple. This is the period of time to build, but not necessarily the time to deploy. This isn't the time to go. Like people want to buy the all-time high breakout. People want to buy new price action, new price discovery, because that's where there's reliable sort of long-term gains to be made.
I mean, if they were to deploy, I'd say they would deploy like when Bitcoin makes a new all-time high. Then they would be like, hey, by the way, here's the thing that we've been talking about for a couple of months, and it's going to be released in 2 months, and just so you know. And then they will do it. That would make sense to me, because at that point Elon would have a lot of time. Like, if you take that scenario, Elon would have a lot of time to start accumulating a little bit of Solana here and there, so it doesn't show up on any specific, because obviously he would want to have a bunch of Solana if he's going to announce this thing. It's something like that.
Well, absolutely, you would see a huge accumulation going on chain, and people would know that something's going on.
Yeah. So they would want to do that over a long time. As soon as if I was Elon and I talked to Anatoly Yakovenko about building Twitter into the Solana mobile phone or whatever, I would certainly start thinking, we've decided that we're going to work on this thing, so I'm going to start buying some Solana, a little bit here and there, a little bit every day. I mean, that would probably be like insider trading, I guess, but still, I would have a difficult time not doing it, because then announcing something like that would just be massive.
Well, yeah, but as I say, they would do it in a way that would have minimal market impact, ideally, and utilize things like, I don't know how sort of it goes on insider trading, but utilizing futures to basically go, I'm going to buy a shitload of this, so I'm just going to buy futures contracts to cover it. You buy all the futures contracts, and then you basically, over time, you just sell the future and buy the spot. And so you can then, when the price is incredibly cheap, you can buy a shitload of it and then just convert it to spot further down the line. And that would be a very efficient way of using a small amount of capital and a bit of leverage, maybe, to just to pump up your purchasing power. And I don't know how realistic it would be, but I know I've utilized that trick in the past, so it's
it's not a bad idea.
Doable.
Not financial advice.
I will only say what I've done. I did that, and it was
you're
successful.
Cheeky.
Yes, I know what the hell I'm doing.
I know that. So, Rob, last thing, we did touch on this before we started, just the rate hikes and everything. I've started leaning towards it being a rate hike on the 3rd of May.
The market agrees with you.
Yeah.
If we I don't know if you
I
want
don't
to.
think we were gonna dig too deep into this, but we did
No.
look at some numbers, and I think Rob, you're bringing them up, right?
Yeah. So
I
essentially,
see them. Here we
the
go.
current target. Yeah. So the current target range for the Fed funds rate, so the federal funds rate being the interest rate essentially, is 475 to 500 basis points, and that is going to increase. You see here on the 20th of June, so coming in for the next hike, they're saying it's going to be one higher, a quarter of a point higher than it currently is on the range, and that can be seen in this second chart with the probability of a rate hike, where we're over the past, you saw into February that the probability of a rate hike was up to 94%, so it was incredibly guaranteed. Then we hit this inflection point for the past few months, and now we're becoming more confident that we're going to have a rate hike. So yes, 71.5% chance of a rate hike and 9% chance of a cut. So that puts a 20% chance roughly of staying the same, and that's a very strong indicator that a hike is likely, or the market believes a hike is likely, and the market is very rarely wrong on this. And
on top of that, they have been saying they were gonna raise.
Yes.
Essentially. So.
However, if we then look at this, the expected future path of the Fed funds rate, then you can see even towards sort of mid, in a year's time, then they're expecting rates to be lower than they are today. The mean is coming in at say close to 3.5% in around a year's time, and if that's that's kind of sort of what we'll see is they're expecting to see a new normal of about 3% inflation. That's kind of, or positive real rates, which would be 2% inflation and 3% interest rates, which is healthy. That's how things should work. So if this seems to be pathing in a soft landing and oh look, we're not going to have to completely knee-jerk reaction. We're going to be able to drop it down, but it is still saying that the trajectory for interest rates is now not upwards. It is downwards, moving forwards over the next couple of years. These are not sustainably high interest rates.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We do have some important stuff coming out in the next couple of days that might help us make a better understanding of what might happen on the 3rd of May. We got the durable goods on the 26th. It's coming out the month-over-month measurement. We got the GDP growth rate quarter over quarter in the advanced numbers of that. The forecast is 2. Previous was 2.6. So. We'll see that with that. We also get on the 28th, I think. Yeah, we get the core PCE index. We get the personal income month over month, and we get the personal spending month over month as well. So on the 3rd, after those, we'll have a little bit better understanding of what we might see. But yeah, I'm kind of leaning on the a rate hike happening, even if I don't want it. Both you and I have said that they should start lowering this shit. For since the start of the year, essentially.
Yes, and they should really have, they should now be thinking about getting down to basically on that, on the chart, that trajectory that they showed, that I showed a moment ago, is getting down to about 3% over the next 2 years, and that's doable, but it means potentially, just stop fucking hiking, guys. Just have a rest. Just relax. Chill. Literally, just how about we stop for a little bit and then go, okay, let's do a bit more.
Yeah. Let's see what happens before we make a decision.
Yes,
basically.
and it's now we've seen we're moving into these months, and I've been saying for so long, and here it's gonna come, that the inflation rate will collapse between sort of April, May, June, July, these next few months. We're pretty confident that that's going to happen, and here we are coming into it, and the probability is they're going to hike again.
Yep.
So we're already at the inflection point where the interest rate and the inflation rate are roughly the same, but they're going in different directions. And it's you've got to you've got to slow something down before you change its direction. And so far, we're still moving forwards, and we want to be going backwards. And we're getting further away from the target.
Yep.
So
we'll just have to wait and see. Honestly,
we will.
I did want to finish this off with just a quick thing with our little strategy that we have. I think we showed on the Monday when I was still around. I don't know. That was Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. I think that was the last time we streamed with this pump up. And the day after that, on Tuesday, our Crypto Talk strategy for indicator gave us a sell signal. And after that, we've gone down since. So we had a correction. So another happy hit, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, so far, let's hope it. Let's see if it holds and bounces.
Precisely. We'll have to see if it holds and bounces. But we're going to talk about the TA stuff tomorrow. So I just wanted to show that the strategy actually works. And if you want access to it, you can get it soon. Hopefully, we'll sort out some Patreon stuff. But just wanted to show that it actually hit it pretty much perfect. We keep saying that, but we keep
saying soon. We're going to do it.
We're going to do it.
We're going to do it.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Stop getting ill. Now you're not dead. Now you're back to life.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I didn't die. I was not close to dying. It felt like I was, but I was just
told
sick.
Me he was. That was why I told you who.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
No, you're lying. I didn't. Show me proof that I told you I was gonna die.
I'm just bluffing. I don't know what we said in the chat.
Well, either way, let's finish with that, and because we're making a short. I'm not completely back to normal yet. I think you can hear it in my voice. I'm kind of like
Last Monday
are we doing still?
Are we doing TA today, or are you too sick, bro? I can't even breathe or see. That was a response. So.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you thought I was dying.
So I mean,
and now you're lagging. Your voice is super robot, by the way. Yeah, it's. So we'll end it here, guys. Sorry about the short one, and sorry about skipping yesterday, but I was still really not in a good place then. But tomorrow we're gonna do the TA Monday thing, and then we're gonna go over all the stuff that's happened in the past, I guess, 2 weeks. Then, and luckily not much has happened until we got this little correction. But we'll talk about that too, and we'll have some more information and all that. So I just need to find my mouse pointer. Oh, there it is, so I can actually turn this off. Remember, the usual: like, subscribe, do the notification thing, and show everybody you ever known this channel. Yeah. Because otherwise, they're gonna miss out on cool stuff with cool people.
If you know anybody that's in crypto that has gone quiet after they were bragging about it in 2021, and they're like, you want to see how they're doing? Just be like, hey, I know some guys. They put out good videos.
Yeah, exactly. So, unfortunately, only
because they pissed you off in 2021, and now
I'm just want to say, like, we know, Rob is trying to say stuff, but we only heard like 26% of what he said because lags. So, but he was saying, show your dudes and your peeps. Everybody needs to see this stuff. Otherwise, Rob's voice will always be like this. That's facts. All right. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.
Bye.
You heard that. Bye.